Flying cars. For most people, they've always lived somewhere between science fiction and fantasy, a vision of a distant future that never quite arrives. But something has shifted. Quietly, behind the scenes, a race has begun. And not a metaphorical one, an actual race to the skies. In research labs, corporate boardrooms, and government facilities around the world, some of the world's most powerful companies and institutions are preparing for a future that very well might arrive within the next 5 years. That's right. We may be closer to flying cars dominating our cities than anyone truly realizes. And this isn't about wild concepts or overhyped prototypes. This is about the convergence of real technology, enormous investment, regulatory green lights, and a very real global need. Because the simple truth is, ground transportation is broken. And the sky? The sky is wide open. Let's break this down. For decades, urban infrastructure has been cracking under pressure. Traffic congestion is no longer a minor annoyance, it's a full-blown economic disaster. In major cities around the world, commuters waste dozens, sometimes hundreds, of hours every year idling in traffic. The World Economic Forum estimates that the cost of congestion in the US alone is over $87 billion annually, when you add up fuel, lost productivity, and wasted time. Roads are overburdened. Highways are choked. And no matter how many lanes we build, the problem keeps growing. The planet is adding cities faster than it can manage them, and the old, flat world of cars and concrete just can't keep up. That's why the future of transportation is looking up, literally. The idea of flying cars isn't new. It's been teased in movies, cartoons, and magazine covers for nearly a century. But up until now, the technology just wasn't there. Helicopters were too loud, too expensive, and too dangerous for widespread use. Airplanes needed long runways and skilled pilots. And early attempts at personal aircraft were clunky at best and deadly at worst. But something happened in the past decade. Multiple things, actually. The technology stack finally matured. New electric propulsion systems made vertical flight not only possible, but silent and stable. Battery technology advanced to the point where compact aerial vehicles could travel 100 to 200 kilometers on a single charge. Autonomous navigation systems, powered by artificial intelligence, allowed flying vehicles to make split-second decisions in the air, avoiding obstacles, syncing with traffic control, and landing precisely where they're told. Lightweight composite materials made these aircraft safer and more energy efficient. And fast, decentralized communications through 5G networks made real-time coordination between airborne vehicles, cities, and passengers actually feasible. Together, these breakthroughs form the backbone of a new generation of vehicles known as eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. In simple terms, these are fully electric flying cars designed to lift off like a drone, cruise silently like a plane, and land safely in dense urban areas. But this isn't just about technology. The money has arrived too. Companies like Joby Aviation, Archer, Lilium, and EHang are pouring billions of dollars into eVTOL development. These aren't tiny startups operating in garages. Joby has backing from Toyota and the US Department of Defense. Archer has inked deals with United Airlines and is planning air taxi hubs in major cities across the US. EHang has already been greenlit by Chinese regulators to begin autonomous passenger flights, the first government approval of its kind in the world. This isn't a future idea. This is happening now. Joby, for instance, is planning to launch its first commercial air taxi service in 2025. Not in 10 years. Not in some hypothetical future. In less than 24 months, they expect passengers will be hopping into silent, autonomous aerial vehicles and flying over traffic in places like Los Angeles. And they aren't alone. By 2026, multiple companies expect to launch services in key cities, with fleets that can carry hundreds of passengers per hour. Governments, too, are preparing. NASA has already begun testing advanced traffic management systems designed for low-altitude urban airspace. These systems will coordinate flying vehicles just like control towers do with airplanes, but on a scale we've never seen before. The U.S. Air Force has launched a program called Agility Prime, which is actively buying and testing eVTOLs for military and logistical purposes. Saudi Arabia is incorporating flying taxis into its multi-trillion-dollar Neom City project, planning for a skyline filled with airborne commutes. But here's where things get even more surprising. Flying cars may take off faster than autonomous ground vehicles. Why? Because the sky is a simpler place. On the ground, self-driving cars have to navigate a labyrinth of chaos: pedestrians, pets, traffic lights, potholes, jaywalkers, construction sites, rain, snow, bikes, and human drivers doing unpredictable things. Every block is a minefield. And despite billions in research, companies like Tesla, Waymo, and Cruise are still struggling to reach full autonomy. In the sky, it's different. There are no cyclists. No red lights. No intersections. No toddlers running into the street. Just regulated air corridors, digital navigation systems, and clean line-of-sight communication between aircraft. When you factor in AI-powered flight controls, modern sensors, and real-time air traffic management, it becomes clear, autonomous flight might actually be easier than autonomous driving. But these flying cars aren't designed to replace every vehicle on the road. They're not going to land in your driveway next week. The first wave will focus on high-efficiency urban routes, quick flights from downtown hubs to airports, or between major parts of sprawling cities. Imagine calling an Uber, but instead of sitting in traffic for 50 minutes, you lift off from a rooftop and fly silently above the gridlock, arriving in just 8. It's not a pipe dream. Companies are actively building vertiports on skyscrapers, shopping centers, and airport terminals to make this exact scenario a reality. Cargo is another game changer. UPS, Amazon, and DHL are all exploring eVTOLs for same-day delivery of critical packages, things like blood transfusions, transplant organs, and urgent electronics. These deliveries aren't slowed by traffic, roads, or even weather in some cases. They're fast, direct, and potentially life-saving. And they're coming soon. There are challenges, of course. Regulatory frameworks must evolve. Airspace must be managed carefully. And public trust must be earned. Most people are still uneasy about the idea of autonomous vehicles, let alone ones that fly over their homes. Safety testing must be rigorous, and early use cases must prove themselves in the real world. But these challenges are being addressed. The certifications are moving forward. The FAA has already begun working with eVTOL companies to develop safety protocols, licensing procedures, and airspace designations. In Europe, EASA is doing the same. Public pilot programs are launching. Demonstrations are being held. And each successful flight brings us one step closer to a new normal. If you had asked most people 5 years ago when flying cars would arrive, they probably would have laughed. Maybe 2050, they'd say. Maybe never. But now? The question isn't if. It's how soon, because the pace of development isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Battery prices are falling. AI capabilities are exploding. Infrastructure is rising. And every successful test makes it easier for the next company, the next city, and the next passenger to step aboard. 5 years from now, it might be completely normal to take to the skies during your daily commute. Not because it's flashy, but because it's faster, cheaper, and better. And like every transformative shift in human mobility, from horses to cars, from trains to jets, once we see the benefits, we never go back. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is science fact. The flying car revolution isn't on the horizon. It's already in the air.